20 fruit trees that grow almost anywhere. Have you ever thought about having fresh fruit in your backyard, but think your city isn't good for planting trees? Or that the climate is too hot, cold, or dry? The good news is that there are several fruit trees that adapt to almost any location. They don't need complicated care and can produce delicious fruit even in pots, small yards, or even in cities with little space. In this text, we will talk about 20 trees that grow well in different climates and soils. Some of them you already know, like the guava tree or the lemon tree. Others may be new, such as Pitangera or Jabuticabera. They all have one thing in common: they are resistant and do not require a professional gardener to work. Let's see what they are, how to care for them, and why it's worth planting one, or several, at home. Why do some fruit trees grow almost anywhere? Not all trees like the same conditions. Some need a lot of sun, others need shade. Some prefer moist soil, others can handle drought. But the 20 we are going to list are special because 1. They adapt to different climates. They grow in both the heat of the northeast and the cold of the south. Some can even withstand light frosts. 2. They don't need perfect soil. It is not necessary to have super fertile land. Many do well in poorer soils or even in pots. 3. They are resistant to pests. Some have leaves or bark that repel insects, so you don't need to use a lot of poisons. 4. They grow quickly or slowly, but they always bear fruit. Some start producing in 1 or 2 years, others take longer, but they all reward you with delicious fruit. 5. They can be planted in small spaces. Even those who live in an apartment can have some of them in pots or planters. If you live in a house with a yard, on a farm, or even in an apartment, you can grow at least one of these trees. And the best part, many of them produce fruits that we eat every day, such as bananas, oranges, or mangoes. The 20 fruit trees that grow almost anywhere. Let's get to know each one of them, with simple tips on how to plant and care. You don't need to memorize everything, but it's good to know what the best options are for your case. 1. Banana tree. Where it grows. In almost all of Brazil, except in very cold places, such as some regions in the south. What it looks like: it's not a real tree, but a large plant that looks like a tree. It grows quickly and produces banana bunches in 1 or 2 years. Care: like sun and water, but not soaked. If planting in the backyard, leave space because it releases pups around. Tip: if you live in an apartment, plant a dwarf banana tree in a large pot. It doesn't get huge and yields small but delicious bananas. 2. Lemon tree. Where it grows. Throughout Brazil, even in pots. What it looks like: small tree, with green leaves and thorns. It produces lemons all year round if you take good care of it. Care: likes full sun and well-drained soil, not waterlogged. Water when the soil is dry. Tip: Tahiti lemon is the easiest to grow. If planting in a pot, choose one at least 40 centimeters deep. 3. Guava. Where it grows. In almost the entire country, even on poorer soils. What it looks like: medium tree, with green leaves and sweet or sour fruits, depending on the variety. Care: likes the sun and doesn't need a lot of water. You can prune to control size. Tip: white guava is sweeter and great to eat fresh. The red one is good for making sweets. 4. Hose. Where it grows. In warm places, such as the north, northeast, and central west. In the south, only in warmer regions. What it looks like: large tree, with green leaves and delicious mangoes. It takes about 5 years to bear fruit, but it's worth it. Care: needs sun and space. He doesn't like soggy soil. Tip: if you don't have space, plant a dwarf mango tree. It produces smaller but equally delicious fruits. 5. Jabuticabera. Where it grows. In almost all of Brazil, except in very cold places. What it looks like: beautiful tree, with black fruits that grow on the trunk. Jabuticabas are sweet and great for juices and jellies. Care: like sun and moist soil, but not waterlogged. It takes about 5 years to bear fruit. Tip: plant it close to a wall, because it likes a little shade at its roots. 6. Pitangera. Where it grows. Throughout Brazil, even in pots. What it looks like: small tree, with green leaves and red or yellow berries. Pitangas are tart and refreshing. Care: likes the sun and doesn't need a lot of water. You can prune it to whatever size you want. Tip: great for those who have little space. You can even plant it in planters. 7. Plum tree. Where it grows. In places with colder winters, such as the south and southeast. What it looks like: Medium tree, with white flowers in spring and sweet plums in summer. Care. Needs sun and well-drained soil. It likes cold in winter to produce well. Tip. There are varieties that adapt to warmer climates, such as the yellow plum. 8. Orange tree, where it grows, in almost all of Brazil, except in very cold places. What it looks like. Medium tree, with sweet or sour green and orange leaves. It bears fruit all year round in some places. Care. Likes sun and well-drained soil. Water when the soil is dry. Tip. The pear orange is one of the easiest to grow. If planting in a pot, choose a dwarf variety. 9. Avocado tree, where it grows, in hot and humid places, such as the north, northeast, and southeast. What it looks like. Large tree, with green leaves and creamy avocados. It takes about 5 years to bear fruit. Care. Needs sun and well-drained soil. Does not like strong wind. Tip. Plant 2 trees close to each other so they pollinate each other and bear more fruit. 10. Cashew tree, where it grows, in hot places, such as the north and northeast. In the southeast, only in coastal regions. What it's like. Large tree, with green leaves and the famous cashew. The fruit is the hard piece, and the false fruit is the juicy part. Care. Likes sun and sandy soil. It doesn't need a lot of water. Tip. Cashews are rich in vitamin C. If you don't have space, plant a dwarf cashew tree. 11. Acerola, where it grows, in almost all of Brazil, except in very cold places. What it looks like. Small bush, with red, acidic berries. Acerola is one of the fruits richest in vitamin C. Care. Likes sun and well-drained soil. It produces fruit all year round in hot climates. Tip. Great for vases. You can make juice, jelly, or eat fresh. 12. Pomegranate tree, where it grows, in almost all of Brazil, even in dry places. What it looks like. Shrub or small tree, with red flowers and sweet or sour pomegranates. Care. Likes the sun and doesn't need a lot of water. It resists drought well. Tip. Pomegranate seeds are great for salads and juices. Plant in a large pot if you don't have a yard. 13. Fig tree, where it grows, in almost all of Brazil, except in very humid places. What it looks like. Medium tree, with large leaves and sweet figures. Bears fruit twice a year. Care. Likes sun and well-drained soil. It doesn't need a lot of water. Tip. Figs are great for eating fresh or making sweets. Plant in a sunny place. 14. Passion fruit, where it grows, in almost all of Brazil, except in very cold places. What it looks like. Climbing plant, with beautiful flowers and sweet or sour passion fruit. It grows quickly and bears fruit within 1 year. Care. Needs sun and a support to climb, such as a fence or trellis. Likes moist soil. Tip. Yellow passion fruit is the most common and easiest to grow. Great for juices and mousses. 15. Peach tree, where it grows, in places with colder winters, such as the south and southeast. What it looks like. Small tree, with pink flowers in spring and sweet peaches in summer. Care. Needs sun and well-drained soil. It likes cold in winter to produce well. Tip. There are varieties that adapt to warmer climates, such as the Indian peach. 16. Serigella, where it grows, in hot places, such as the north and northeast. In the southeast, only in warmer regions. What it looks like. Medium tree, with orange and sweet fruits. The serigella is a typical fruit from the northeast. Care. Likes sun and well-drained soil. It doesn't need a lot of water. Tip. Great for juices and ice creams. If you don't have space, plant a dwarf serigal tree. 17. Uveira, where it grows, in almost all of Brazil, except in very cold places. What it looks like. Medium tree, with yellow and sour fruits. The uvea is similar to the jabuticaba, but smaller. Care. Likes sun and well-drained soil. It doesn't need a lot of water. Tip. Great for making juices and jellies. Plant in a sunny place. 18. Graveolera, where it grows, in hot and humid places, such as the north and northeast. What it looks like. Medium tree, with large, sweet fruits. Soursop is creamy and great for juices. Care. Needs sun and well-drained soil. Does not like strong wind. Tip. Plant in a place protected from the wind. It takes about 3 years to bear fruit. 19. Ingazeiro, where it grows, In hot places, such as the north and northeast. What it looks like: large tree with green and sweet fruits. Inga is a typical Amazonian fruit. Care: like sun and moist soil. It doesn't need much care. Tip: Inga pods are great for eating fresh or making sweets. 20. Aracazeiro, where it grows. In almost all of Brazil, except in very cold places. What it looks like: shrub or small tree, with yellow or red fruits. Araca is similar to guava, but smaller. Care: like sun and well-drained soil. It doesn't need a lot of water. Tip: great for making juices and jellies. Plant in a large pot if you don't have a yard. How to choose the best tree for your case. Now that you know the 20 options, how do you decide which one to plant? Here are some simple questions to help. 1. Where do you live? If it's in a hot place, like the north or northeast, you can choose almost any one. If it's in a cold place, like the south or southeast, choose plum, peach, fig, or pomegranate trees. 2. How much space do you have? If you have a large yard, you can plant mango, avocado, or cashew trees. If you have little space or live in an apartment, choose a cherry tree, acerola tree, lemon tree, or dwarf banana tree. 3. How long do you want to wait for the fruits? If you want fruit quickly, in 1 or 2 years, plant a banana, passion fruit, or acerola tree. If you can wait longer, 3 to 5 years, plant jabuticaba, mango, or avocado trees. 4. Do you want fruits to eat fresh, make juices or sweets? To eat fresh: guava, banana, mango, jabuticaba. For juices: acerola, passion fruit, uvea, soursop. For sweets: fig, serigella, araca. General tips for planting and caring for trees. No matter which tree you choose, some tips apply to all. 1. Choose a sunny place. Most fruit trees need at least 6 hours of sun a day. 2. Prepare the soil. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's a good idea to mix a little soil with organic fertilizer, such as worm humus or tan manure. 3. Water the right way. Most trees don't like soggy soil. Water when the soil is dry, but don't let it dry out too much. 4. Protect the seedlings. If you plant a small seedling, place a stake to support it until it is firm. 5. Prune when necessary. Some trees, such as pitangara and lemon, can be pruned to control their size. 6. Keep an eye out for pests. If insects or diseases appear, remove the affected parts and use natural products such as coconut soap or neem oil. 7. Be patient. Some trees take years to bear fruit, but the result is worth it. Final summary: is it worth planting? Yes. Planting a fruit tree is like having a natural supermarket in your backyard. You save money, eat fresher fruit, and also help the environment. Plus, it's a relaxing and rewarding activity, especially when you pick the first fruits. Start with 1 or 2 trees that suit your climate and space. If it works, plant more. Over time, you can have a varied orchard, with fruit for all times of the year. And don't worry if you make a mistake at first. Even experienced gardeners have lost some seedlings. The important thing is to try, learn, and have fun in the process. After all, planting a tree is an act of hope. You are investing in the future, both for yourself and for the planet. So which of these 20 trees will you plant first? Here are some practical tips for choosing the right tree and ensuring it grows strong and healthy. Even if you are a beginner, first, look at the space you have. If you live in an apartment or have a small yard, choose dwarf trees or trees that grow well in pots, such as cherry trees or lemon trees. They don't take up much space and still produce delicious fruit. If you have a larger plot of land, you can think about larger trees, such as jabuticabera or mango, which will provide shade and fruit for many years. Another important thing is the climate in your region. Some trees like heat, such as guava and cashew, which do well in hot and even dry places. Others prefer milder climates, such as plum and apple trees, which need a cold winter to produce well. If you're not sure, ask a nursery or gardening store in your city. They usually know which trees adapt best to the location. It's also worth thinking about the type of fruit you like best. There is no point in planting a tree that bears fruit that no one in your family eats. If you love juices, for example, an orange or passion fruit tree could be a great choice. If you like sweets, the banana or fig tree are excellent options. And if you want something different, how about a pomegranate tree or a blackberry tree? Children love picking fruit straight from the tree. Don't forget to take care of the land before planting. A simple tip is to mix a little organic compost or well-seasoned manure in the hole where the seedling will be located. This gives the tree a little push to grow faster and healthier. After planting, water well for the first few days, but without soaking. Most fruit trees don't like waterlogged soil, so the ideal is to keep the soil moist, but not too wet. Another thing that helps a lot is covering the ground around the tree with dry leaves, straw, or cut grass. This prevents the water from evaporating too quickly and also protects the roots from the strong sun. Furthermore, this covering will gradually decompose and become natural fertilizer for the plant. If your tree takes a while to bear fruit, don't be discouraged. Some, like Jabuticabera, can take years to produce for the first time. Others, like the lemon tree, begin to bear fruit faster, sometimes in less than a year. The important thing is to be patient and continue taking good care of it. And if pests or diseases appear, don't panic. Most of the time, it can be solved with homemade solutions, such as a mixture of water and neutral soap for aphids or smoke syrup for caterpillars. If the tree is strong and healthy, it can defend itself from many problems. Finally, remember that planting a tree is a gesture of affection, both towards yourself and the world around you. Each tree that grows helps clean the air, attract birds and beneficial insects, and even make the place more beautiful. And when you finally harvest the first fruits, you will feel a joy that no supermarket can offer. So, get to work. Choose a tree that suits you, plant it carefully, and enjoy every step of the process. Over time, you will see that having a little piece of nature in your backyard is one of the best things you can do. And who knows, in a few years, you'll be teaching your friends and neighbors how to plant their own trees too. Now that you know how to care for your fruit trees, let's talk about some options that adapt well to almost any location. It doesn't matter if you live in a small apartment, a house with a yard, or even in a region with a colder or hotter climate. There is always a tree that can work. The secret is to choose the right species for your space and conditions. If you have little space, for example, small or dwarf trees are great. The Pitangera is one of them. It grows slowly, doesn't get very tall, and produces sweet, fragrant fruits that everyone loves. Another good option is the Jaboticaba tree, which can even be planted in large pots. When it bears fruit, it's a party. The branches are covered in purple balls, and you can pick them and eat them right away. For those who live in colder places, the plum tree is an excellent choice. It tolerates the cold well and still produces juicy fruit in summer. The fig tree is more resistant and adapts to various climates, as long as it is not extreme cold. Its leaves are large and beautiful, and figs are delicious for eating fresh or making sweets. If your problem is bad soil or little water, the guava tree is a winner. It even grows in dry and stony terrain, and its fruits are rich in vitamin C. Another tree that doesn't complain about lack of water is the acerola tree, which produces acidic fruits full of nutrients. Both are easy to care for and produce a lot. And if you want a tree that provides shade, fruit, and even attracts birds, the hose is a great option. It needs a little more space, but it's worth it. In addition to the sweet mangoes, its wide leaves keep the yard cool on hot days. For those with children, the mulberry tree is fun. It's small, sweet berries fall to the ground and become a feast for the birds, and for the kids too. Remember that not every fruit tree needs a lot of sun. The banana tree, for example, likes semi-shade and also helps to make the environment more tropical. Lemon trees love the sun, but if you live in a place with cold winters, you can plant them in a pot and bring them indoors when it gets cold. The coolest thing is that many of these trees can even be planted in pots, if you don't have much space. A pomegranate tree, for example, looks beautiful in a large vase on the balcony and also produces fruits full of sweet seeds. Or a passion fruit tree, which in addition to producing delicious fruit, has beautiful flowers that adorn any corner. It doesn't matter which one you choose. The important thing is to start. Plant with care, water with patience, and observe how nature responds. Over time, you'll learn your tree's rhythm, when it needs water, when it's happy, and even when it's about to bear fruit. And when that first fruit ripens, you'll understand why so many people fall in love with having a tree at home. So, don't be afraid to make mistakes. If one tree doesn't work out the first year, try another. The important thing is not to give up. Over time, you will have a green corner full of life, fresh fruit, and stories to tell. And the best part, it all starts with a simple seed or seedling, a little land, and a lot of desire to see something grow.